Hi everyone, Menachem Brodie here with you once again from Human Vortex Training, your certified and experienced USA Cycling expert level coach and strength and conditioning coach. And today we're going to discuss why most of you are probably squatting incorrectly and not focusing on the right things, and how you can easily fix it whether you're at the gym or at home with the kettlebell. So we know as cyclists and triathletes now that strength training is absolutely integral if you want to get the most you possibly can out of yourself on the bike and to stay healthy and well. But there seems to be a problem that is proliferating nowadays, even more so. It's kind of like we're going backwards before we go forwards, and that is the number of cyclists and self-proclaimed strength training coaches for cyclists who are saying that you just need to do lunges or squats or leg presses and hamstring curls in order to get the most out of your strength training because that's sport specific. Notice there's a lot of air quotes there, and we're just going to kick them off to the side because really, there is so much more to strength training than doing the same exact motions that you have in your sport. And this is something that a lot of people don't know, including well-meaning coaches. These people are not telling you this information because they want to do harm. They just don't know any better. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about what you actually want to get out of your strength training in specific squats. So let's get into it and look at what a normal barbell back squat looks like, and why this is not necessarily the best option for you as a cyclist. So what we see here from the HVTraining Instagram is a post from one of our athletes when we went to move him towards back squats. And this was not the right tool for this athlete. And this is a common theme for a lot of cyclists and triathletes out there. So what you see here, the box is there so he understands how low he needs to go, as opposed to a lot of you just trying to go ass to grass, as it's called. Go as low as you can, and you lose that spinal stability. But what I want to point out here, and the reason we have it in slow motion, I want you to notice the head throw that this athlete is using to bring their center of gravity forward even more, which makes it a quad dominant movement. And this is not what we need. Doing back squats or squats in this fashion with that head throw, you're actually decreasing the effectiveness of the exercise, you're reinforcing poor movement patterns, and you're essentially making it so that you're burning time. Yeah, you're putting work in the weight room, but you're not going to get what you need out of these back squats. What we want instead, pause, keep tension on the bench with all the muscles, keep the head steady, create that pressure in your midsection, and allow your glutes to do the work they need to do in order to be able to move you through that squat motion, as opposed to throwing your head forward and using momentum. So this is a big sticking point, and it's something to pay attention to as a cyclist or triathlete heading into the weight room. Okay, so we see a basic barbell back squat. Now, what are some things that you notice with the individual as they're going through this motion? Number one is they're not really able to keep their head upright. They keep on using the head to kind of dip forward. And that shows us that the deep abdominals, the pelvic floor, the diaphragm just aren't quite ready to be able to do the job to hold that bar. So what are some things that we can do that will actually help this athlete get better and improve, not only in their squat, but also in the sport of cycling? Well, the first thing is we want to build a high-quality, intelligent strength training program for this individual. Now, we're not going to get into that today. I actually have a number of courses. You can go to Training Peaks University, Strength Training for Cycling Success, Strength Training for Triathlon Success, or if you really want to take your abilities and knowledge up quite a few notches, we have the HVTraining Strength Training for Cycling certification. But those are going to go above and beyond what we talk about today. Today, what I want to show you are two other variations that you can use to help you get better as a cyclist and be able to get far more out of your strength training than just throwing a bar on your back and going. So the first one we're going to look at here is actually a goblet squat. That's a little bit advanced. So we're going to go first with a basic goblet squat into a static hold at the bottom. So this is going to be a really tough exercise for a lot of you to wrap your heads around, because you're not going up and down and doing sets and repetitions, but instead you're learning to master the bottom movement of the squat holding a kettlebell or dumbbell a few inches away from your chest. Now what this is going to do is put stress onto the postural muscles, puts you under time under tension, which is one of the 3 ways that we can actually grow muscles to be stronger. And it's also going to challenge you quite a bit with your breathing pattern. So we can learn a lot from this static hold squat. So let's take a look at those first. By the way, this is also a fantastic option if you don't have a lot of weights, perhaps because you're traveling, it's snowing outside, you're stuck at home, you only have 1 kettlebell or 1 dumbbell, or if you don't have a kettlebell or dumbbell at all, you can just take old textbooks or heavy books and put them into a Trader Joe's or Whole Foods bag and just hold them out in front of you. So let's look at the static goblet squat and why this is important and a great tool to start with. So I actually pulled up, instead of a static goblet squat, this is a goblet squat with a bicep curl with an 8-kilo kettlebell. So for this athlete, it's very light at this point. And the reason I did this is because we also see a shift in the weight. And as you can see, that the head isn't being thrown forward. We actually see the shift is coming from the hips. And I wanted you to understand that there are different ways the body's going to move. And we need to pay attention to that if we want to build you an intelligent strength training program. So we're paying attention. You'll notice the athlete here, the knee shifts forward. He's finding a nice center of gravity. The head is not moving, but rather the whole body from the hip, the upper torso is moving. So this athlete is doing a really nice job. I wanted to show you this, that head can move, but it needs to be done appropriately from the right places. So you'll notice the athlete has a nice upper torso angle, which is matching to the lower leg angle. And this is an athletic squat. We don't want to have that lunging where the knee or the shin is vertical. That's very quad dominant. And what we want to try and do is work on your erector spinae, the muscles along the spine, get you great glute activation, get you the ability to hold these positions and to be able to use the glutes and the midsection appropriately together to produce stiffness at the spine, allowing you to move up and out of the squat. And this is where so many cyclists and triathletes go wrong with the squats that they try and do in the weight room. They just throw that bar on their back, as we saw in the first example, and they're just going through the motion without understanding what it is we're actually trying to get out of these squats. So here we see, again, this would be considered advanced. For most of you, I would just have you come down, hold this position with the kettlebell just underneath the chin, elbows tucked in, and just hold this position right here for 15 to 20 seconds, just like that. Don't even move, don't go anywhere. That's what we would want to start with. I really love these static goblet kettlebell squats, the hold at the bottom, because we can use them throughout the whole season. They're a great way for us to get a little bit of time under tension for you, no matter if we're doing a development day or we're doing much more of a recovery day. We can still get you that squat pattern and time under tension and teach those muscles how to get into good positions to create good posture and a ability to be able to produce force and really see where you're breaking down when you're a little bit more tired. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go away from what most of you are going to have available for you in your home or in your gym. And we're going to look at what's called a box squat with a safety squat bar. Now the safety squat bar is a little bit like a yoke. It kind of has 2 handles that come down here and then a pad. So it takes you out of this thoracic extension that a lot of us as cyclists and triathletes just don't have. And it allows you to be able to keep a little bit more of a goblet squat style position. However, we're able to keep you moving with more weight. So this is a fantastic tool. If your gym has it, I strongly recommend looking into using it. The box squat part of it is absolutely integral because we need to teach you how to maintain tension and stiffness in through the upper body and the midsection, and then to be able to produce force. So this is one of the main reasons why a lot of you are not squatting properly, is you're just dumping in and out of poor pelvic position, poor thoracic position. Your upper body is curving forward, or you're arching your back up and down. And this box squat, where you're learning how to control the tension throughout your body to maintain tension through your torso, through your glutes, through your quadriceps and hamstrings, and to initiate that movement from the glutes, is actually what we're really after with our squatting. It's not simply throwing a bar on your back and going up and down through that range of motion. Now, certainly, there is something to be benefited from that. But when you look at cyclists and triathletes as a whole, most of us just don't move well through a squatting pattern because we don't have the strength or stability to be able to maintain the proper muscle tension and positions through a full squat range of motion. So let's take a look at the safety bar squats to a box. So it's a box squat with the safety bar with a pause. Notice he's not relaxing on the box, but he's going through the full range of motion. All right, so let's look at what this athlete has here. Now you'll notice that the box is above 90 degrees at the knee. A lot of well-meaning trainers and coaches will mistakenly, and very mistakenly, tell you that in order for it to be a squat, you have to go down to 90 degrees at the knee or some other random range of motion. That is complete BS. It's bollocks. That's not true. The squat is going to benefit you only when you go through the range of motion that you are able to produce proper intra-abdominal pressure, maintain great postures, and produce the motion from the working muscles that we want. So you'll notice this athlete has a pretty good, almost parallel shin to upper torso angle. I could nitpick and say that we'd like to have him a little bit more further forward, but that would be for where he was on that day. Mistaken. This was great for him. You'll notice that he's getting good push through the full bottom of the foot. He's producing power from the bottom of that squat. He's keeping tension and he's able to maintain great posture. He's not throwing his head back. He's not moving his back at all. All of this motion is coming from the glutes, and again, he's able to produce power. So for those of you who think that you have to do lunges with the shin at vertical or walking, that is such an advanced tool that most of you do not need. This is where we build your stability. This is where we build your ability to produce intra-abdominal pressure and allow you to create the coordination within your body to produce power from a stable core and really teach you how to actually utilize your core to produce power on the bike. So the safety bar allows you to put more weight than the goblet squat because you don't have to worry about your arms getting tired and wearing out. All right, so we've gone through 3 different types of squats now that are going to allow you to actually become a better, stronger, fitter, and more capable cyclists and triathletes. Now, the thing you're going to notice is none of these involve the traditional barbell. We're talking about goblet squats. We're talking about a safety bar squat. The only one we looked at that had the regular barbell is the example of what most of you are going to look like in the gym, where you're actually not getting what you want or need out of your strength training by going through it that way, because you're not training yourself to produce stiffness at the spine and the torso and to create movement from the hips and where it needs to be developed. So these are 2 very powerful types of squats. I strongly recommend you give them a shot. Number 1, again, is that static hold at the bottom for the goblet squat. Start off at 15 or 20 seconds, but only go as long as you can maintain a good posture and position with good breathing patterns. So if you're getting down there, you're holding your breath to try and maintain tension, we've got tons of other videos here on the HVTraining channel that'll help you be able to produce or learn how to produce proper rotary stability as well as getting good core strength. And let me tell you this, it's not front planks. So if you want to learn more about that, you can head over to the Human Vortex Training website. We had a blog here at the end of 2019 where we talked about core strength is not just front planks. And in fact, most of you are doing your front planks wrong. Yes, there is a wrong way to do front planks, and the vast majority of cyclists and triathletes, you're doing them that way. You're cheating. And change how you're doing your squats. It's not just going through the range of motion. It's where and how you produce the motion and in what positions and with what breathing patterns that will get you the success that you're seeking out on the bike and out on course for your triathlon. Now, I'd love to hear from you. How do you squat? Does what you learned today change how you're going to approach your squats or what you're currently doing? Leave a comment below with your answer and I'll be sure to follow up with you. If you enjoyed this video and felt it was valuable in teaching you about strength training for cycling and triathlon and how to get more out of your training, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends and coaches. And if you want more training content, subscribe to my YouTube channel here and the Strong Savvy Cyclist and Triathlete podcast, which is published on Tuesdays. And don't forget, head over to the Human Vortex Training website to sign up for our free newsletter and to get your free gift helping you to get more out of your intervals in sport. And remember, train smarter, not harder, because it is all about you.